Welcome again to the Stream-Flo of Consciousness podcast. I'm Matt Nemeth, and joining me today is Chris Cheng, the Commercial and Business Development Manager for Eavor Technologies.
Perfect.
I nailed it. I practiced a little bit.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, Chris.
My pleasure.
Tell me, right now here, right off the bat, kind of what Eavor Technologies is and what you guys are up to.
Yeah, so this is our hometown. We're based in Calgary. We are a closed loop geothermal technology company. So we invented the closed loop geothermal system, which means we drill two wells and actually intersect them and create our own fluid circuit where we pump down or circulate down our own fluid to collect heat from the earth, as opposed to needing to find aquifers or fault zones and things like that. So our entire mission is to basically be geothermal anywhere, right? You're not in those places like Iceland and where everybody else in this show is operating. Our idea is to use our technology to bring geothermal to jurisdictions that normally wouldn't have geothermal, because there's this heat from the core of the earth under everybody's feet. So that's the basis of our technology and our mission statement.
Too cool. And as you said, you guys are Calgary based. So how long have you guys been in operation for?
Yeah, so I think we were founded in 2017. I've been with the company for 6 years. I joined in May 2020 as employee number 13. So it's kind of slow in stealth mode for a few years. And then I was sort of part of that first big hiring wave as they raised some money and had the funds to start growing the company. So at the peak, we were about 150 people, and we're sitting around, I think, 90 right now. So, yeah. Okay.
You were the lucky employee number 13, I think.
I love it because my birthday date is also the 13th, so I have no problem. And it worked out really nice. Yeah.
Exactly. Funny how the universe will work in ways like that and give you a sign. So tell me right now, just what is the current, I guess, plan for Eavor Technologies? What are you guys doing, and where are you putting your focus into right now?
Yeah, so our first commercial scale project was in southern Germany. And I actually went and lived there for a couple of years, and I just moved back to Canada 6 weeks ago. So we brought on our commercial scale project. So we're bringing up about 10 megawatts thermal of heat, converting that into electricity and selling power into the grid in Bavaria.
Oh, cool.
And right now we are shifting away from being a development company. So we had to go and develop that project because no one else believes in the technology more than you do. So you have to go and do the first one.
Right? Yeah.
But we've always wanted to be a technology company, right? So now that we've done it, we kind of know the recipe and what we need to do to put the whole system together. We're looking for partners and stakeholders, strategic partners, what we're calling like anchor partners, to develop these loops on our behalf, right? So in order to scale up, we can't go and build them all. We need to teach people and enable other developers to actually go and build these. And so that's basically our new business plan going forward.
Okay. Well, who would make an ideal partner, in your books?
For us, so like we have our shareholders, British Petroleum and OMV, which is the national oil company in Austria. Okay. So they would know exactly how to drill wells, right? So anyone who has the balance sheet and the capability and the know-how. So some potential geothermal developers could use our product as well. If they are looking for traditional geothermal open loop and maybe don't find the porosity or the permeability, then the Eavor product could fit into a portfolio, right? So we're very agnostic to that. So we have that. We have foreign governments. So we have quite a bit of support from places like Singapore. They understand, for example, that solar and wind isn't going to help them decarbonize because they are very footprint constrained. So most of the Eavor-Loop, the facility, if you want to call it that, the radiator, that's all underground. And so we're a very attractive option for them. So governments that want low footprint and still have all that energy infrastructure underground in the Eavor-Loop, they would be ideal. And of course, same as everybody, we've got the AI thing happening. And so hyperscalers, people who need behind the fence heat and electricity, those would also be ideal partners for us as well.
Cool. Now this closed loop system, obviously it's integral to, Eavor and what you guys are doing. Maybe just run me through the, what you can share about the technology behind that.
Yeah, no problem. So, I mean, we're in Calgary for a reason. Most of our early staff and still a lot of our staff come from the oil and gas industry. So the know-how of the geoscience and the drilling, that's all in-house. And we're able to, take the best people from industry who maybe want to transition from petroleum into renewables. Nothing wrong with petroleum, of course. That we all need it and use it. But
totally.
So we take the technology from oil and gas, and that started with ranging. So in SAGD, so steam-assisted gravity drainage, which you drill your injector and your producer, and they're generally spaced like 5 meters apart, right? So you can inject the steam.
Okay.
And so this technology was used to make sure that the wells didn't collide, right? They stayed that 5 meter parallel between the injector and the producer. So we just took that same technology and said, well, what if we steered the wells towards each other and actually intersected them? So that was one of our enabling features of the closed loop is the ability in the process to intersect the wells. Then the other one we have is what we call our rock pipe. And so it's basically a chemical sealant that we use so that we avoid having to use steel and cement to line the radiator section of our well. So you can imagine if we had to run steel and cement or liner through kilometers of drilling, that would be very cost prohibitive. So inventing the rock pipe product and applying that for geothermal, that's also our secret sauce.
Cool.
And then from there, we had the thermodynamic modeling, but it's pretty easy. It's conductive heating through a pipe, a cylinder. So many places can now replicate the math to model our Eavor-Loops. But initially, when we did our pilot, that was sort of our third thing too, was to show that our models were extremely accurate. So the rock pipe, the intersection, and the thermodynamic modeling is sort of the three things that got us going.
There you go, the Trinity, as it were, when it comes to
Eavor.
Sure. Well, I think it's really interesting, as you mentioned. A lot of people from Eavor came from oil and gas.
That's
right, and just seeing the I'd say the transferability of stuff, much like with Stream-Flo. Oil and gas is obviously where everything began with us, and the SAGD, when it was first being developed, it's one of the things we kind of hang our hat on because we were part of that trial system too, right? So obviously we were there learning that high pressure, high temperature stuff. And now as time goes on and now these new technologies are coming out, stuff can be transferred quite simply, it seems too. So as I know you came from oil and gas, what are some of the things that you've noticed now shifting to this renewables market that I guess they share, or also where they maybe diverge a bit?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you nailed it. It's why it's elegant. I'm not sure if you caught Premier Smith with the opening remarks, but it's an elegant way of, as we decarbonize and the world is shifting that way, it's an elegant way to not need to reskill the existing workforce, because the same know-how, major capital projects, right? Dealing with high temperature, high pressure, like what you guys do, that all just transfers very elegantly into geothermal. So the geologists, the drillers, the engineers, the financial modeling, you're building all these things, and it's just a different product, whether you're closed loop or open loop and you're just producing water or steam or oil and gas. It's a slightly different product that you're producing, heat and water, but everything else is there's a lot of overlap. Everything else is the same from oil and gas, right? Yep. And then we look at the technologies. You see all the same service providers now. It's really I like it seeing. This is my first time seeing you guys at a geothermal show,
right?
And so you're seeing more of that shift over where the oil and gas ecosystem is slowly coming to geothermal, which I think is also very exciting to see. And it's great to see you guys here, having a footprint and a presence here as well.
Exactly. No, it's been really exciting to be a part of the show. What have you maybe enjoyed most about the conference up till this point?
I think the geothermal world, it's obviously an order of magnitude smaller than oil and gas, maybe even more, honestly.
Yeah.
So it's a very close knit group of people, and it's we really believe it's a rising tide lifts all ships kind of situation. So with this conference, there's 12 parallel technical streams. I mean, that's just a tremendous amount of information, tremendous amount of open sharing. I know Eavor, we've done, I think we put in like at least a dozen presentations and papers and posters. So we just think, if geothermal benefits or any one company benefits, then everybody does, right? So I've really enjoyed the collaboration and sort of like the open friendliness of the whole thing, right? Everybody's been very approachable, and we're all kind of rooting for each other, which is great.
Too cool. And we've noticed that as well. I think we were mentioning it too, just briefly before you and I sat down to talk, but that collaborative feel within, the conference room. And then when you get to the symposiums and things like that, just seems like a very refreshing thing. There is almost kind of a bigger end goal that everyone is working toward, and hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. I think obviously the people here, at least I can just speak for me, we're environmentalists at heart, right? So even when I worked in oil and gas, we were looking at reducing water use, making sure we have low environmental footprint, and that just carries on. So I think we're all just decarbonization and geothermal champions, regardless of the paths we took to do it, right? So if I wasn't working at Eavor, I'd just be somewhere else, but still with the same end goal. So, but I think Eavor's for me a great vehicle to try and achieve those decarbonization and save the world kind of goals.
Entirely, yes. And I think that's something that does get lost sight of from time to time too, that there are many efforts obviously at decarbonization, and it's not a one size fits all solution. It takes kind of everyone rowing in the same direction to get there.
Exactly. So it to me, it's never been a competition, right? Like we're just glad to be in the conversation, because I think even when I started 5-6 years ago, before Eavor really got big, whenever people were talking about renewables, the only two technologies were really solar and wind. So it's also really good now to see geothermal come into play, be part of the the vocabulary of renewable energy, and it honestly really wasn't before. So they're calling this the geothermal decade, and I think that's also true.
Yeah, too cool. It's going to be exciting to see what happens here in the next few years to come. And I want to thank you so much, Chris, for taking the time to pop on the Stream-Flo of Consciousness podcast and just share what's going on with you guys at Eavor Technologies and the industry in general.
It's my pleasure to join, and I love what you guys are doing here. So
awesome, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks so much.
Catch you later.